Okay, now we work on this chassis a little bit. This is the chassis that motor goes in right there. So we have a kickstand issue. You see how the kickstand sticks just about straight out? It's not how they're supposed to be. That just makes them bend and break. You have no leverage when you're sticking straight out like that. So you can see how much free play it has in the system here. So it's getting wear on it. But it's way, way too far out. And the bike leans way the hell over. And it's been getting worse over the years. Back up. Come over here, see a little better what it looks like. Yeah, brakes are dragging on this thing. So you can see how it really falls over. So your bike's not supposed to lean over that far. This is a kickstart only bike too, and you can just see how it's way the hell over. It's 25 degrees over probably. That's just not how they're supposed to be. So I got a couple options of what I can do. I got a longer kickstand I went and got, which is right here. So it's an inch longer than the one that's on the bike. Right there. So it's going to help slightly, but I don't think it's going to help enough to matter. So let's get a mock-up. Reach in there, grab the board. Drag this over a little bit. Don't want to hit that rack. You can see you put a 4x4 in this thing, not even blinking. Okay, even with this angle, that's a lot of angle. This is how it used to be when it first started. That's how much it's worn and bent. Something's moved. You see how it's way far forward too, which is not helping matters. So this stand here is supposed to be an inch longer. So that's the distance from here to the pivot point. That's where your link comes in. So this one here looks to me like it's probably a couple inches longer. So that in itself will probably help a lot. The other option you can do is you can take this and cut it right here. You heat up with a torch right through here, put a big crescent wrench on it and bend it down, and then re-weld it back on. Then you can use a stock stand. If we put this one on there, which is probably the first thing I'm going to try to do, this might give me enough I can work with it. I can also take this and bend it right here in the press, and then bend it down like this. And then come back and rebend this back flat so it's the ground flat. So I might do that. This one here doesn't have enough length between here and here to do that. This one here, we got this much area here. And I can actually all the way go down to here if I want, but we can rebend this and give a better design out of it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and try to install this on the bike. See what happens. So we got to figure out how we're going to hold the bike up. There's no kickstand on it, and I'm doing the one here. So that might be fun. Of course, if we drop it, there's a paint job involved. So we'll have to see how that all works out. Might be interesting. All right. First thing, get the airline out of the way. Something to lean against. That's always my first choice. Get something soft to hit against. Not soft enough. protected a little bit. All right, that looks pretty secure. So give us something good to lean against and bikes don't fall over then. Pretty good. Put a lift up for safety, just in case we start yanking on too hard. Keep it from falling over this direction. Alright, that kind of wedges it in so it doesn't move now. Okay, now we get to try to get that pin out of there. Let's see, we got tools around here. 10 to 1 we got the wrong tools. Yeah, we'll find out. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, we even got the right one. Oh, that's nice and tight. Yeah. That's always a plus. That bolt hasn't been tightened this week, obviously. Hasn't been cleaned either. Oops, it fell off. All right. It's over here. Way too high in the air. We're working on the ground, you gotta get down lower. Way lower. Yeah, look at that. Adjustable height. Imagine that. Okay, so now, see how this got a bushing right here, which goes in the hole right here, and then it's all nice and rattle, rattle, rattle. You kind of see what's going on there. Turn that so I can see what we're looking at. So you can see how this is all worn out in the hole here. So without making an oversized bushing, we're kind of stuck with that, which is not the best, but beats the alternative of having to make custom parts all the time, which I don't particularly want to be doing. Okay, so now we're going to take the new stand here, pull it out. You can see how this spring is kind of used, so that's getting ready to probably to break. Plastic sticks on it pretty good. Customers usually don't like it when you leave the plastic on. They think it's your job to pull plastic off. Yeah, it comes off in pieces. Probably take a hair dryer too, it might make it come off easier. I don't have a hair dryer. Yeah, this is Definitely been on there for a while. And if I care if the chrome scrapes up a little scratches in it, not a bit. If you cared about your chrome, you should have been here doing this. You could have took it off. I got work to do. Screwing around with a bunch of stupid ass plastic is not my job. Alright. Most of it off. They're on their own for the rest. Okay. So this gives us a new bushing, which is probably no better than the last one. If I leave the plastic in there, it might make it tighter, right? Oh yeah, it's nice and loose. I think that's looser than the one that was in there. Yeah. No, about the same. It's definitely a long ways from being tight, let's put it that way. Now to do this right, you ream the hole out to a round hole, then you make an oversized bushing, preferably out of something hard. They have things called drill bushings. They're heat treated. Someone drills through them to center parts. They make them all kinds of different sizes. You could probably buy one from the industrial supply place and come up with one. Make it work. That's nice and tight now. We need to make it stop a little better. We don't want to keep going this far. We want to stop over here. So I have to weld it right here like I did before. It's all worn away now. Alright, let's see what we got. Like back a little bit. Pull that out. And it helps slightly, but not a lot. So, it's marginally better. So, it's leaned over a little bit. It needs a little bit more. So, if we move the kickstand back a little bit, out there, that gets it a lot better. See how it helps quite a bit. And if I bend the stand a little bit, I get this thing back up in the air a little bit, even with the bad bushing. So I think that's kind of the direction we're going to go. Right now it's still leaned over. It's good again. This is how it started a few years ago, but over time it changed. Alright, so now we've got an idea where we're at. Now I'm going to do a couple things. So I was looking at my elbow, even though I got a nice looking elbow. I'd have to watch a video to see if that's true though. Okay, so right now we need to get a little weld right on here to tighten it up. So you can see how this is bent back. I need to go like straight. So I got to put a good 1/8 of an inch of material right in there, and that'll hit right here. See that little spot right there was already hitting? So that'll build it up. You can either do it on the frame or you can do it in the kickstand. It doesn't matter where the weld comes from, it just needs to be put on there. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the frame itself. It's easier. Good people, what is it? We need a good ground. I'm not sure where good ground is on this bike. Probably right there, but I got a weld right there. Am I getting away a little bit? We'll stand back a little bit. There, we'll get you back over here. Better idea what I'm doing. Get an upper view. These are wire feed. Alright, can't watch the welding. Go watch over there someplace. Alright, I got enough on there finally. So, a little hot right now. That'll come out. Stay in there. Okay, we need to come out straight, at least, if not a little more. So I got enough weld on there to do that. I got enough weld to go this far out too. So I'm going to grind it at an angle like this, and then we can bring it back as we need it. I'm going to grind it from the top, and somebody can grind it from the bottom. I'm not sure I'm going to do that because the bike's at the wrong angle to get underneath. So, might not be too much of a turd on the bottom. Alright, so now I'm going to grind that a little bit. So I get some way of grinding it. Put the camera over here. Get out of the way. You see what kind of a mess I can make. We're already making a mess. So make a bigger mess. Junk out of the way. All right. Alright, I've got my big grinder and we got a little chop saw grinder. Those are the starting tools. We might change, who knows. See how they work. Welding stuff out of the way. Favorite one first. A little bit on the bottom I got to clean away somehow. I think I can get under there though. No, that won't work very well. I'll have to use this. This ought to be interesting. So you come up until you hit the bottom. And you go forward with it. Hold it at the right angle. And hopefully you grind the right amount. And we're going to see if this will fit on there. Okay, that went on there. So that's a plus. Okay. Now you can see what we did over here. So we got that ground flush. And we got underneath here ground away. So now it's the same height all the way across. That's why the fork right here, goes on there. It's right in there like it's supposed to. Whoop. So it's right on in there like we want. Now this is going to be way back here. So now we got to figure out how much of this we're going to grind away. Let's hold the camera right angle. So we got to grind this away right through here. Not sure how far yet. So I'm going to start at an angle like this. So we'll see how that works. So to make a lot of sparks. See how that works. I'm going to cut this one straight down. It's right in my face. It's a good spot for it. I'm going to come over here and grind it over this way. The sparks are shooting up in the air, trying to hit me. They are hitting me. Shit goes on speaker. Hello? Fuck that phone. It don't like to work anyway. Alright, now we're going to see how this works over here. And we bolt out the wrench. Warmed it up a little bit. Tell because my finger's getting hot. You don't have to go all the way in, but just enough to make sure you got it in there. Okay, so that looks pretty good. It's a little bit too far back. Not too bad. It's almost straight. So you gotta go a little bit more, a few more degrees forward from there. You know, I'd say probably another inch forward down here. Put us at a good angle. So we have to figure out where it's hitting at. Looks like it's hitting right here in the corner. So I need to grind this away a little bit somehow. So I get to figure out how I'm going to do that. That ought to be interesting because I haven't figured out a way to get down there yet. It's a lot easier if the bike was on the ground. Or I mean up in the air a little bit, I mean. Let's see. Might be able to come in with this a little bit. Yep, I can make that work. Just all the sparks go right in our face, as usual. Pretty good right there. We'll go just a tick further. That looks good. All right, I like that. Ugh. So we were about there. Now we're over there. So you got a good angle. So the bike, you bump the bike, it won't just fall over. You have to go that far before it even starts to roll. So it gives you a couple inches of movement before it's too much. And this will break in right in here as it wears a little bit more. That's pretty good for now. So now I need to get a spring up under there somehow. Thinking this spring up here was the one that was kind of used a little bit. Yeah, that's definitely not new condition anymore. So I'm gonna go up front and grab me a spring. Other than that, it looks pretty good. I like that. Now, how far does the bike lean over? Get that out of the way. Oop. Airline out of the way, that's cheating. Okay, the bike's not too bad now. It's a good safe to mount if you're on hills and stuff, but I'd rather have it a little more straight up and down, especially on a kickstart bike. But it's definitely a lot better than it was, that's for damn sure. I know it's going to settle and go further over, so I'm going to give it a little bit of a bend. Safety back in there. So I'm going to bend it just slightly down right in here. Get kind of what we want. The airline out of the way. Okay, so I'll pull this off. Go. Put a little paint on that so it doesn't rust. Got another paint protection device here. There you go. That'll keep it from rusting. Okay, so now we can go in there and straighten this out. I gotta pick up a couple things off the floor here. All right. Take this and go for a walk. That's why the phone didn't ring. The battery went dead. It's a good phone. Keeps you from getting interrupted when I'm working. So if you called me, call back. Or not. So this looks like an accident waiting to happen here. There we go. Drop down on my table so it'll fall off. Okay, so now we're over here in our press. So what you gotta do is put this between two blocks and push right here in the middle, and that'll bend it. Except we need to bend it on this side so it goes down, not up. I don't want to screw up my press block, so I put metal between them. Something right there, so it won't damage it. I like aluminum, but I don't always have it sitting here to use. We got one piece. Protect part of it. We'll put that on that side. Yeah, it doesn't work too good. You said about equal height. Something small. Something I don't have here. I have to find a couple something to put under there. All right. So I use a couple of big thick washers here from the mill, a couple aluminum shims, piece of stainless or galvanized steel too. So we can stack up what we need over here. That looks pretty good right there. Aluminum on top of that. That out of the way. Actually, we'll go up on top of that up there. Bend a little bit further, closer in. It'll leave a mark, but oh well. Okay, now I take something round, stick in there. Something fairly big. Something like this I've used before. See the mark, dimple? We'll put the dimple in the same spot. Right there. You want to rotate this flat so that it bends straight. That looks pretty good. Alright. I'll get a bench rotate on. Alright, let's see if you can see what's going to happen here. Okay, we're going to bend that a little bit. It's going to spring back a little bit. See how far? I think it sprung back quite a bit. Put a little more oomph to it. And we now have a little bit of a bend to it. Just kind of what I want it to be. The camera's in my way. Alright, so you're right on the same dimple spot. Okay, so now we got a little bit of a down leg bend to it. So we got to bend this back up right in here somehow. So usually what I do on that is somehow you hold it and you hit it with a big hammer. That's usually how I do it. So if we come all the way over here, put a little bit of tonnage on it. Right in that spot. We're going to use this to hold it. About the right spot. Right there. Oh. Press handle back in. Okay, make sure you got room for it to bend. Okay, put a little pressure on it. Called a bending device. Like that. Give it a couple of adjustments. Then go see what we got. If I did it right, it'll fit right out of the box. Or right out of the press. That rarely happens. Okay, so I'm going to do another mock up here. Cooled off now, it doesn't burn my fingers. It's about the time you figure out you went the wrong direction. Not this time. This time we're going to tighten it up. Okay. got. Looks like I can bend it a little bit more. Let's see what the bike looks like. Yeah, I think the bike can stand a little bit more lean, or a little more vertical, I should say. So I'm going to give it just a little bit more bending. I don't remember how much the suspension moves when you jump on this bike. I think we're all right. If the suspension drops while you're kicking on it, it makes it hard to kick. The bike wants to fall over. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and back over there. Go ahead and pull this back off again. Got a lot of practice at doing this. Remember, this is going to settle in and loosen up a little bit and lean over further than we have right now. So you've always got to remember, things are going to move on you. So if they move on you, you got to contradict that right now. All right, so we're going to do the same bend. Move this up. Two of these washers under here. Okay, so we'll give it a little massage here. Put the spring back. I think that's a good start. So we'll go sneak up on that and see what we got. So you can see how much the bend goes down now. So you don't want to take too much, so just take a little at a time. You can always come back and bend it again, but I hate bending and trying to go backwards with it. It doesn't work too good. Free plan there, see? Alright, it's tight. Oop. Safety device out of the way. What I want to do right now is make sure this is starting to hit the ground over here. Pretty flat. It looks pretty even to me. You want to wear flat on the ground. Ah! Bang your leg on the bike. Alright, that's starting to look pretty good. Well, I think we can live with that. It looks pretty damn nice, I think. Alright, so now we got to get our kickstand spring up in there. And I don't know if we need to use something that's that modified or not. I'm thinking maybe we don't have to have one that's quite so modified. You never know. All I know is that's not going to work. So we have a kickstand spring around here. Not laying in front of me today. That makes it kind of hard. Alright. You guys all seen that shelf. Have you seen these shelves yet? Kickstand springs. 30 to 86. That'd be that one right there. Harley Davidson. Yep, we got lots of parts here. Yeah, panhead crap. Yeah, oh well. How'd you like the shop tour? You have to slow that down to super slow mode and we see all that, right? Okay, now for the fun part. How are we going to install this? And how much is that going to stretch? It appears that it moved that much. It's quite a bit. A little bit of grease. Alright. The lock washer. Here's one. Take a little grease, a little bit of blue Loctite, or blue locking compound. It's actually a different brand. Got my safety device. Feels nice when you bang down on your top of your hand. Makes you feel better. Now you're going to put a lock washer on there to help retain it. This bushing is not thick enough to keep it from bottoming out, which is not good. This will be the last time it gets lubricated, unless you leak a lot of oil. Then it'll have a lifetime supply of lubricant. We can't count on that. The grease also helps hold the bushing in there. Okay. Loctite on the bolt. Now for the fun part, hooking the spring up. There's a little hook under here. Of course, neither one of those will go into here where they need to go. That makes it kind of hard to get together. Now that one fits in this side a lot better. We'll use this one. How's that? Okay, this sits on the bike like this. That spring was getting pretty bent, so if you turn the spring over, it hangs down a little bit lower. Gives a little more clearance. So put it up in this direction. So now the spring is now more toward the underneath, so it shouldn't bend as much. And there's an eyelet on the frame. If you put it on like that, it moves the spring in. You put it on this side, it moves it out. So I'm going to put both things out toward the rear, or to the left side of the bike. Yep, that just fell off. Okay, now for the fun part. You got to try to get that over that. I'm on the wrong side of the bike to do that. This is going to be fun. It might require some grunting and groaning. We'll see how that works out. Junk out of your way so you got room to work. That always helps. Whatever you don't need, move it. You need that. All right. Sure how we're going to do this. Just permanently stretch the spring a little bit. It's going to be an inch of spring movement. See, that's going to require almost an inch of movement, stretch of that spring. Yeah, there's no way that spring is going to stretch that far. There's a ½ inch there, get right up in that area. Yeah, that's 3/4 of an inch of stretch on that spring. That's a lot of stretch. I'm thinking that's way too much. I'm going to try a soft tail spring, see if that helps. So we got 2 more springs to play with. So we got 85 to 06. We got 07 and up, soft tail. That'd be when they quit making them. Which is what, this year? 17? Last year? Okay, let's see how much longer this one is. I know these are longer, I'm just not sure how much. I can go up to 3/8 of an inch, no problem. ½ inch might be too much. There's a lot bigger diameter too, but so what do we got here? Yeah, it's not really that much longer. It's a lot bigger. Slightly longer. Only about 1/8 of an inch. I pretty much stretched it that much already. Now this spring here, this is a goofy looking spring. It's got barely even got any eyelet on the damn thing. I don't know what's up with that. That's kind of a stupid way of doing things. That's Harley for you, stupid. Oh, look at those fancy eyelets. Yeah, boy, those are fancy. Yeah, they're a lot longer. The spring's a lot bigger. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Get it on there to work fine. Yeah, that's the problem. Ah, there we go. There's how you're going to do it. A hammer when you need it. Need a hammer. Hammer. So here's what I did. See, I got it going this way and I got it where it's hooking up on there. I can pull on it right here, push on it and beat it in a little bit. Should stretch that spring and put it in there where it needs to go. At least that's the game plan. that. When it actually worked. I gotta get back to where it belongs. Now you gotta try to get this to go up in the bushing hole. That's the next problem. The spring's in the way. There we go. It almost works. There it goes. Yep. Got a lot of grease on that Loctite. That'll make it set up real good. Got a lot of tension on it, so I'm not sure how that's going to fly. Yeah, I don't think there's enough tension on that thing to do anything. There's a little bit on there, but not a lot. I don't think there's enough there to work after it all breaks in. I think we're going to have to go back to stock spring. Try to rustle it on in there. Alright, we'll go back to the stock one. Admit defeat, make it work, right? Of course, now we know how to put it up on here. Attempt to anyway. Ah, you damn bushy. There it goes. Well, same trick works. A lot of stretch on that spring, but it's in there. Yeah, it's got some stretch on it. I think it's what we need. You didn't have that stretch on there, I don't think it'll work at all. So, you can see how much stretch is on that spring down there. Got quite a bit. But you see how the angle here, I'm not bending the spring up here like that other spring was being bent. If I had it going around the other way, I'd probably bend it more. You see how it is trying to bend it because of the tension on it. And as you rotate it, see it doesn't bind up on the bottom of the kickstand and go down. It just kind of comes up. You can see how much tension's on it all the time. Got quite a bit on there all the time. Guitar string. You can see how that slides forward and when you do that. So there you go. Just out of the way. Bring it back. there we go, one kickstand modification done. On the bike, leaning pretty good. So that's what you needed. So 1 inch longer stand with a custom downward bend to it. So it doesn't look too awful bad on the bike. Down here, see better. So you can see how much of it is actually bent down. And it's sitting flat, so it'll wear good. So there you go. That's how you fix a kickstand on a Sportster. No problem at all. So, alright, now I get to work on the motor. Oh, we get to go to that next. Alright, that's it for this project. Alright, here's that kickstand that just come off that bike. So you can see how it's hitting on the inside here, but the reason it was dangling so low is, if you look at the kickstand, you can see how it's bent up. See, this is when it was on the ground. You can see how much this is actually bent. Instead of being straight like that, it's curved like this. So you can see just the whole thing, even here is bent. This whole thing's bent, especially from above my finger up. So that's another reason why the bike was leaning so far. This bolt was loose. It's probably because it's pulling the threads in the metal here. It's, it's trying to strip it out. But that's why it was dangling so much. So the kickstand gave up a lot. So that's what happens. That's why you want to keep your angles relatively flat. The more it leans over, the more leverage it puts on this, the more it wants to bend it. These actually do snap off. They break here and they break right through here. I've seen these break here several times. So anyway, that's why it was leaning so much more than when we first got it. So there you go. Just want to show you that.